Hi everyone. In this Symplicated video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of decluttering and doing that by category. So one of the things that I have really appreciated about Marie Kondo's method of tidying up is her approach by category. This was something that really changed how I did things, because when I did things by room, when I decluttered one room at a time, the things that I was getting rid of would actually just migrate their way around my house. So for example, if I was cleaning up a bookshelf on the main floor of my house, sometimes those books, I wouldn't make a decision about them and they would make their way to a bookshelf in the basement or a bookshelf on the upper floor, and I would find that I wasn't really getting rid of anything. I wasn't decluttering anything. I was just moving it around, and that wasn't really the end result I wanted. So Marie Kondo's method of doing things by category really changed things for me. For example, with books, I then brought all the books together in one room in my house. So I chose the living room floor and piled up all the books. I had more than I thought I had, and that's part of the point, is that you can then look at that big pile of books and you are confronted with how many you have. And I looked at that and thought, wow, even if I retired today and spent half a day every day reading, I would probably never get around to reading all of these books. And plus then there are all the other books that I want to read that either haven't come out yet, or they're still at the library, or I haven't purchased them. So really just looking at all of those books made me realize that I needed to get rid of quite a few. So the method of cleaning by category makes a huge difference. Sometimes people ask us, well, what order should I go in? And Marie Kondo does promote a certain order of things. Often I would suggest starting with clothing, because that's a category when you do wardrobe editing or decluttering in your closet of your clothing, then that spurs you on to do other areas of the home because it feels so good and has an immediate impact. So then you can go with books if you want to. For me, actually, books was a difficult category. So I started with kitchen items first. And then you can actually subdivide this list of categories as well. So for kitchen items, maybe you want to subdivide it into, say, dishes, and look at that category first, pull all of those things out, decide what stays and what goes, and then put them back and bring out containers and do the same thing with containers. And then maybe you want to look at kitchen tools or gadgets and appliances. So you can subdivide these categories if you're finding it overwhelming. But really, the way you move through the categories should be from easiest to hardest, and that's pretty individual. So it's individual to how you feel about that category. If you're finding clothing is an overwhelming place to start, then don't start there. Start with a different category instead. Perhaps tools or paper would be one. But one thing is clear, that sentimental items and photos, those should probably be last. Don't start with those categories. There is so much emotional attachment to those things that you'll find that those categories are much easier once you've had some practice with other categories first and gained some momentum. So I hope you found these tips helpful, and you can find more at symplicated.com.